Thursday. Head's looking a little shiny. I just got my eyebrows waxed today. And I got my hair redone, if you can see it. Added purple. More purple. Anyways, it's Thursday, February 9th, 2017. And I just got out of ROP, or Rite of Passage, which is one of the programs that the juveniles go into when they are in corrections. And so last week I said that I wouldn't be able to talk about the facility that I'm at, but I think I'm actually safe to talk about the facility. I just can't talk about any of the individual students or girls or inmates or what you want to call them. So I am volunteering at Betty Marler. And Betty Marler is a private program that the state does use. So I will give you a little bit of education on at least what I've learned so far about the system, and then give you just a little overview of how it works. So I am volunteering at Betty Marler, which is on a campus close to home, and it is a 40-bed facility basically for girls who are juveniles, who are some of the roughest, toughest cases in the state. And what happens, and then on that same campus is Montview, and Montview is a detention center. So how it works is if you're a minor and you get arrested, you get in trouble, and they take you to detention. So the detention facility, Montview. So they hold you there, whether it be a couple hours to several days. I think some of them are there longer for months. And that's basically to hold them until their court date. So that's just a holding facility. It's not necessarily, from what I understand, a long-term place. But once they go to trial or they go to court and have their court date, then the judge decides on the best place or facility for them to be at. And so this particular facility, and a lot of them, they have school, they have sports, and they have visitations on weekends, and then they have things like tonight church, Bible study that is during their free time, so they can choose if they go. So these girls do not have to come to Bible study, of course. It's their choice if they want to take the time out and do that. And so that's just kind of an idea of how this is. So these girls that I'm working with are committed for anywhere from, I would say, 6 months to several years. And so they stay in this program. They go to school. One of the girls is graduating from high school in this program. And so she invited me actually to her graduation in a month or two. And so they can get their degree. They can play some sports. Not everything's available because they don't have the staff or the volunteers to do it. But that's kind of an idea of what's going on. And so there are new girls, like I met a couple that were just committed in the last month or two, and then some graduate out of the program completely. So Betty Marler is the facility, but the program is called Rite of Passage. Some of you probably know more about that than me, but yeah, so let's see, I got a lot of people watching. Hi guys, thank you. I'm not looking at any comments, which it doesn't look like there's any, but so yes, so they can graduate out of ROP. That's for guys and girls, and I think it's just like a statewide program, Rite of Passage, for them to get their degree, to kind of get therapy and try to get their life back on track. And so I got to go tonight, and what kind of stinks is that how it's set up, there's 4 dorms with 10 bedrooms in each dorm. They're all in the same building, but it's just the best way to explain it. So there's 2 dorms that are connected to a pod, and then there's 2 dorms on the other side of the building connected to another pod. So there's 2 pods but 4 dorms. Well, we used to be able to mix both pods and do Bible study together. But as of a month or so ago, the girls abused that. And for safety reasons, now we are not allowed to mix groups. So last week we were in pod 2. This week we're in pod 1. And so it really sucks because we don't get to see them every week now. We can see them every other week. And that's just really not good enough. So we are praying and hoping that the girls will be on good behavior so that they can again come together and we can do Bible study fellowship as a big group. That's really the goal. So anyways, and so my lesson 101 from last week, that just what I learned going into this situation with these girls is really to listen. So first and foremost, if you want to build a relationship with someone, if you want to get to know them, you have to shut up. And I learned that the hard way. If you know me, you know I love to talk. I've come a long way, and being a leader at BSF, it's huge to learn. My husband's laughing at me. I still talk a lot, but compared to when I was younger and I would just talk to fill the silence, I've learned to just sit in the silence, and if I don't have anything important to say, then, it's okay to be quiet. So I learned this last week the hard way, and I began to ramble on about my faith, but ended up adding in some of my own prejudice about another faith, and it just did not go well, and I totally understand. I messed up. I broke the rules that BSF even has, that we don't talk about religion, any specific religion. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about necessarily what church we go to. We want to have unity, and those things can cause division. So it doesn't matter what religion, as far as in the Christian category, we should be united regardless of the background. And so I learned that last week, and I'm continuing to learn that, to just listen to these girls. And yes, when they ask questions, and like the Bible says, always be ready to have an answer for those who ask about your faith in Jesus. And I was basically asked about my faith, but instead of keeping it short and sweet and simple, I decided to just talk too much. And glad I learned that the first week, but I am going to have to apologize to one of the girls who I offended. And that's just a rough bite to swallow, but it's a learning experience for me. And what offended her, several of the other girls, it really spoke to them, and they were encouraged and inspired. And so I can't look at it as, I failed and I offended somebody, and I do feel bad about that. I do not want to offend people, especially based on my own prejudice, but I have to also be thankful for the good things that came out of it as well. So that's mostly it, and I guess I just want to ask you guys, and continue to ask you, to partner with me in praying for me, praying for the other volunteers, and for God's protection and guidance. Satan does not want us taking the gospel into these girls' lives. He doesn't want us spreading light or love. He really wants to keep them in dark. He wants to keep them captive to their struggles and their hardships. Satan does not want to see these girls succeed and to find peace and freedom. And that's what we're trying to bring to them. And so we just need God's defense and his armies on our side. And we need a lot of people to be praying for us. So those of you who are, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are my prayer warriors. And then one other thing is that I am supposed to teach/preach next Sunday at church for the girls, and my schedule is so crazy right now. I overall know the passage that I'm going to speak on and what I'm going to say, but I really would like a couple hours to sit down and just map it out and do my homiletics and practice, and I just haven't had the opportunity. So if you could be praying for that, and that God will guide my message, and that the girls will just really feel spoken to from God through it. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great week, and I'll see you here next Thursday, same time. Love you.